Think about this. Only 15% of you will actually finish this video. Most of you will be lured away by a notification or a fresh hit of dopamine within seconds. Your brain is being physically rewired right now, and it's time we talk about how to take it back. Imagine your brain as a piece of ancient hardware trying to run the most demanding, chaotic software ever written. It's like trying to play a high-definition, open-world video game on a computer built in the 90s. The fans are spinning, the system is overheating, and everything feels like it's about to crash. This isn't a metaphor. It is the literal reality of your daily life. We are living through a massive survival glitch, where the very instincts that kept our ancestors alive are now the same ones making us feel restless, anxious, and perpetually distracted. To understand why you can't stop checking your phone, we have to look at the OG human, the hunter-gatherer. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors lived in an environment of scarcity. Information was rare. If you saw a rustle in the bushes, it was either a predator that could kill you or a berry bush that could feed you. In both cases, your brain needed to react instantly. To make sure you paid attention, evolution developed a brilliant bribe: dopamine. When that hunter-gatherer found a new source of water or spotted a deer, the brain released a hit of dopamine that basically said, "Hey, this is important! Remember this! Do it again!" This system worked perfectly for a world where novelty was synonymous with survival. If it was new, it was vital. But fast forward to today. We still have that exact same prehistoric brain architecture, but the environment has changed at light speed. We have moved from a world of information scarcity to a world of absolute, overwhelming digital overload. The glitch happens because our ancient hardware can't tell the difference between a life-saving discovery and a red notification dot on a social media app. To your brain, every ping, every like, and every scroll feels like a survival cue. When you see a notification, your brain doesn't see a trivial comment from a stranger. It sees a rustle in the bushes. It releases that same ancient dopamine hit, telling you to pay attention right now. This is why you feel that physical itch to reach for your phone, even when you know there is nothing important waiting for you. You are being hijacked by your own biology. We are continuously being flooded with reward chemicals, not for avoiding danger or finding food, but for consuming meaningless packets of information. Our brains are essentially trapped in a relentless cycle of seeking rewards that don't actually satisfy us. The tragedy is that our brains are incredibly smart, yet incredibly stupid. They are smart because they are designed to adapt to whatever environment we put them in. But they are stupid because they can't distinguish between a funny cat video and a crucial piece of knowledge. Both deliver novelty, so both get rewarded with dopamine. We've entered a state of cognitive evolutionary mismatch. Our environment is moving at the speed of light, while our brains still think we're roaming the Pleistocene. We are using a survival mechanism to navigate a landscape of entertainment, and the result is that we are losing the ability to filter out the noise. We are paying attention to everything, which ultimately means we are paying attention to nothing. We often treat our lack of focus like a moral failing or a simple lack of willpower, but that perspective misses the physical reality of what is happening inside your skull. This isn't just a bad habit. It is a structural transformation. We are currently living through the Great Rewire, a period where our brain's physical architecture is being remodeled in real time by the digital tools we use. To understand this, we have to talk about a beautiful and slightly terrifying concept called neuroplasticity. For a long time, scientists believed the adult brain was essentially set in stone once you hit your 20s. We thought the wiring was fixed. We now know that isn't true. Your brain is more like plastic or clay. It is constantly molding itself based on how you use it. It's an efficiency machine. If you spend your time lifting heavy weights, your brain optimizes the neural pathways for muscle coordination. If you spend your time playing the piano, the areas of your brain responsible for finger dexterity and auditory processing expand. The problem is that the brain doesn't care what it is optimizing for. It just wants to be good at the tasks you give it most often. And what tasks have we been giving it since roughly 2007? We have been asking our brains to switch tasks every 15 seconds. We've been asking it to process thousands of disjointed fragments of information. A headline, a photo, a joke, a tragedy, all within a single minute of scrolling. In response, your brain has gone into a state of neuroplastic hyperdrive. It is physically strengthening the pathways for rapid, shallow switching and letting the pathways for deep, sustained focus wither away. Think of it like a forest. Deep focus is a well-paved, sturdy road that takes time to build. Fragmented attention is 1,000 tiny, chaotic footpaths. The more you use the footpaths, the more the main road gets reclaimed by the weeds. I've felt this myself, and I bet you have too. Have you noticed lately that it's harder to sit through a 2-hour movie without checking your phone? Or that reading a single chapter of a book feels like a Herculean task? That's because your brain has been physically trained to crave the next thing before you've even finished the current thing. We have conditioned our neural circuitry to expect constant novelty. When that novelty stops, when the movie gets a little slow, or the book requires actual mental effort, your brain experiences a short circuit. It's literally screaming for its next hit of digital dopamine because that is the environment you have optimized it for. This is the cognitive price of the smartphone revolution. Within a decade and a half, we have managed to fragment our attention so thoroughly that deep focus now feels unnatural. We are becoming brilliant at skimming the surface of everything but incapable of diving deep into anything. We are becoming masters of the micro-thought. The danger here is that deep focus is where creativity, empathy, and complex problem-solving live. Those things don't happen in 15-second bursts. By allowing this great rewire to happen unchecked, we aren't just losing our productivity. We are losing the very mental workspace where our most human capacities are born. We are physically changing who we are, one swipe at a time. And the scariest part is that most of the time, we don't even realize the remodeling is happening until the main road of our focus is already gone. If you're feeling that short circuit in your focus, it's not your fault. Your brain is just following its training. But if you're ready to start the great rewire yourself, I've designed something to help. My ebook, 30 Days to a Better You, is a practical roadmap to help you reclaim your focus and reset those neural pathways. It's a step-by-step guide to trading that digital fog for real clarity. You can find the link in the description. Now, let's look at the invisible hand that's been steering your attention. When we talk about our digital habits, we often frame it in terms of choice. We say, I spent too much time on my phone today, or I decided to watch a few videos. But that framing is a bit of an illusion. It ignores the invisible hand that is actually steering the ship. To really understand why our brains feel so fragmented, we have to look past the content, the dances, the memes, the political rants, and look at the container itself. Back in the 1960s, a thinker named Marshall McLuhan dropped a bombshell of an idea. The medium is the message. What he meant was that the way we receive information matters far more than the information itself. If you read a story in a leather-bound book, the message is one of linearity, patience, and depth. But if you consume that same story through a vertical video feed, the message changes completely. The message becomes speed, shock, and instantaneous gratification. Today, the media landscape isn't just a place where information lives. It is a meticulously engineered environment designed for one thing: engagement. We have to be honest about the fact that these platforms aren't neutral. They are built by some of the smartest engineers on the planet, using the same psychological principles found in Las Vegas casinos. Every infinite scroll, every autoplay feature, and every algorithmically curated For You page is a deliberate choice made to keep you from ever looking away. This is the medium's invisible hand. It turns our attention into a currency. In the attention economy, every swipe you make is a microtransaction. The platform's goal isn't to make you smarter or more connected. It's to keep you on the platform for one more second so they can sell that second to an advertiser. To do that, they have to feed your brain's craving for novelty at an industrial scale. The deeper message we are receiving every day is that our brains should expect an immediate reward at all times. When you spend hours in an environment that rewards you every few seconds with a new hit of stimulation, you are being conditioned. You are being trained to find anything that doesn't offer an immediate reward, like a difficult conversation, a complex project, or a quiet moment of reflection, intolerable. The medium is essentially choosing how you think. It is pushing you toward a scanning mindset rather than a contemplating mindset. You start to view the world as a series of 15-second clips. Your internal monologue starts to mimic the rhythm of a newsfeed, disjointed, high emotion, and rapidly shifting. We think we are in control because we chose to open the app, but once we're inside, the architecture takes over. We are living in a world where the design of our tools is actively hostile to the way our brains naturally form deep thoughts. The invisible hand is constantly nudging us toward the shallow end of the pool, making sure we never stay still long enough to actually sink into a topic. We aren't just users of these platforms, we are being processed by them. And until we recognize that the very design of the digital world is engineered to fragment our focus, we will continue to wonder why, despite our best intentions, we can't seem to put the phone down and just think. We've reached a point where we have a name for this collective mental fog: brain rot. It's a term that sounds like a joke, something we use to describe a teenager who spent too many hours watching surreal, high-speed internet memes. But if we peel back the slang, what we find is a profound and unsettling shift in how the human-animal processes reality. The cost of our digital addiction isn't just a few hours of lost productivity, it is the literal erosion of our internal intellectual infrastructure. Think about how a memory is formed. It's a delicate chemical process. When you focus deeply on something, your brain's hippocampus acts like a librarian, taking that information and carefully filing it away into long-term storage. But there's a catch. The librarian needs time and quiet to do the job. In the modern digital environment, we never give the librarian a chance. Every 30 seconds, we interrupt ourselves with a notification, a new tab, or a quick swipe. We are essentially living in a state of just-in-time memory. Our brains have looked at the infinite power of Google and the social feed and made a cold, calculated decision. Why should I bother storing this knowledge when I can just click it back into existence later? We are outsourcing our intellect to external hard drives. While that sounds efficient, it comes with a devastating side effect. When you don't store information internally, you lose the ability to make lateral connections. You can't have a light bulb moment if you don't have the light bulbs installed in your own mind. We are becoming brilliantly informed in the moment, but fundamentally empty in the long run. Then there is the death of boredom. We used to treat boredom as a nuisance, but neuroscientists now understand it was actually the crucible of creative thought. When you are bored, your brain doesn't just turn off. It enters what's called the default mode network. This is when your mind wanders, solves problems in the background, and comes up with your most original ideas. But today, we treat boredom like a disease that needs an immediate cure. The second there is a gap, waiting for an elevator, sitting in traffic, standing in line for coffee. We reach for the digital dopamine. By killing boredom, we have effectively killed the incubator for our creativity. We are so busy consuming other people's thoughts that we no longer have the space to generate our own. We skip along the surface of data streams like stones being skipped across a lake, never sinking, never touching the bottom, never feeling the weight of a deep conceptual understanding. This is the true definition of brain rot. It's the transition from being a deep diver to being a surface skimmer. We are losing our stable dopamine baselines. In the past, normal, slow activities like a long walk or a quiet conversation were satisfying. Now, because we have artificially spiked our dopamine levels through constant digital hits, those normal activities feel painfully dull. We are perpetually chasing microdoses of stimulation just to feel normal. As we change our neural architecture, we are seeing the results in our mental health. An unprecedented rise in restlessness, and a strange,
modern anxiety that comes from being simultaneously overstimulated and undernourished. We are consuming more information than any generation in human history, yet we feel like we know less and less. We are losing the capacity for insight, which is perhaps the most human capacity of all. If we aren't careful, we'll find ourselves in a world where we have all the answers at our fingertips, but we've forgotten how to ask the questions that actually matter.
If you've been following along this far, I have some incredible news for you. You aren't broken, and your brain isn't ruined. You've just been living in a high-gravity environment for your attention, and your mental muscles have adapted to that weight. But here is the secret that the attention economy doesn't want you to know. Neuroplasticity is a two-way street. Just as we trained our brains to crave the fragment, we can retrain them to crave the depth. We can reclaim the real estate of our own minds. Think of it like building physical muscle after years of being a couch potato. You wouldn't walk into a gym on day one and try to bench press 300 pounds. You'd probably hurt yourself and never come back. Our attention works the same way. If you've spent the last 5 years watching 15-second clips, you can't expect to sit down and read a 500-page biography in one sitting. Your brain will scream for mercy. Instead, we use a concept called progressive overload. Start small, absurdly small. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Put your phone in another room, sit in a chair, and read a book or just think. When the 5 minutes are up, you're done. Next day, make it 7, then 10. What you're doing is physically rebuilding that main road in the forest of your mind. You're telling your neurons that the state of focus is the new normal. Over time, your mental endurance strengthens, and that restless itch to check your phone begins to fade. But willpower alone is a losing game. We have to use environmental design. Our environment nudges our behavior more than we like to admit. If your phone is on your desk while you work, your brain is using energy just to not look at it. You're fighting a silent battle you don't need to fight. The goal is to make focus the path of least resistance and make distraction the path of most resistance. Put the phone in a literal drawer. Delete the apps that make you feel hollow. Use website blockers. Add friction to your bad habits so that by the time you bypass the friction, you've had enough time to ask, do I actually want to do this, or am I just twitching? Another vital step is rebalancing your dopamine. We have to lower the volume of our lives so we can hear the music again. Try setting aside blocks of time, maybe just 30 minutes a day, where you are intentionally unstimulated. No podcasts, no music, no screens. Just you and the physical world. At first, it will feel like torture. You will feel bored, and your brain will panic. But if you push through that wall, something miraculous happens. Your dopamine baseline resets. Suddenly, a slow conversation with a friend or the taste of your coffee feels rewarding again because you aren't constantly comparing it to a high-speed digital hit. This is what I call attention literacy. It is the most valuable skill of the 21st century. In a world where everyone is distracted, the person who can hold a single thought for an hour is a superpower. Deep work, true innovation, and genuine connection all happen in that protected space. Protecting our focus, our memory, and our creativity isn't just about productivity. It's about protecting the very things that make us human. 100,000 years ago, our ancestors learned to pay attention to survive. Today, our survival depends on learning how to pay attention deeply once again. So, when this is over, don't click the next video. Just sit for a minute. Let the silence be okay. You're not just sitting there, you're taking your mind back.